Hello, welcome to Breakfast Central. This beautiful Wednesday morning, reaching you live from the center of excellence and the city of aquatic splendor, Lagos State. Yes, it's Breakfast Central, your wake-up tonic for the day. The best place to start your day right is here, where we bring you all the latest information, news, and insightful analysis on the biggest stories happening in Nigeria and, of course, Africa and the rest of the world. You're welcome. I am Benga Aboroa.
And I'm Joe Hansen, welcoming you to Breakfast Central. Like Benga's rightly said, it's Wednesday morning and we are here bright and early as usual to start your day with you and to set the pace in which you can continue to run for a very smooth, we believe, a smooth and fantastic day. A lot has happened around the world, and stories coming from Nigeria is starting to look like it's focused again. This time, not on insecurity, but on politics. Politics has taken the center stage all over again. Now, if you recall, a few weeks ago, ever since the President of the United States put out the strong tweet, it seems like politics took a back seat. Well, not like it seems, it was what it was. And as soon as politics took a back seat, we did see the Senate, we did see the Assembly, we did see politicians, not forgetting to governors, everyone, although some were very silent. They just didn't know what to say. But we saw movements around insecurity. The presidency seemed to have received a little shake-up, and everyone had to stand attention, as it were, to find solutions to what we call the insecurity situation in Nigeria. But after that strike in Sokoto, and of course the one that happened in Kwara State, it seems like there's a little slowing down, even though the Nigerian military is stating that they're using nothing more than technology to attack the insurgency. And we've seen pictures to show that they're indeed making progress. However, do recall that there's also been kidnappings in Kwara State. This morning I read on the Leadership newspaper while I was on my way to work. I just started to read a little, and I read that a journalist was also kidnapped in the north. He's a journalist who works with the Nigerian Television Authority and then moved to AIT. He was kidnapped. Now, in 2004, the journalist was kidnapped, particularly in Kano State or so, if I'm right, if my memory fails me, doesn't fail me rather. Another journalist was also kidnapped in that same locality, that same area. It was said that he was approached by the assailants, he was asked for money, and he said he had none, and decided to say, okay, you don't have money to give us. They decided to take him and whisk him away. The police confirmed the kidnap, and as we speak, the search is on. Now, while all these cases are happening, it seems like the FCT minister has brought us back, trying to help Nigerians forget about insecurity with a spate of political campaigns that are ongoing. And there's nothing more than the media can do than to look at these stories. So, Benga, that's what I see. It's quite pathetic that insecurity has taken a back seat.
I wouldn't say insecurity is taking a back seat. And it would be good news for insecurity. I mean, incidents of insecurity not to be, not to hear about them. That means, and the only type of news we should be getting is that the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is dealing decisively with criminal elements and non-state actors that are fomenting trouble across the country, and not that people have been kidnapped or people have been killed. We don't want that kind of news. But even though, as we speak, the Nigerian Air Force carrying out interdictions, the Nigerian Army carrying out mop-up operations against these insurgents, we still have pockets of insecurity here and there, and our prayer and hope is that they deal decisively with it. But it's also important to note that 2026 is a penultimate year to a general election, so it's natural. As soon as the clock turned 12 on January 1st, 2026, the politicking began. And you rightly mentioned the FCT minister he termed it the thank you tour of local government in Rivers State, while residents of the FCT are complaining about the non-removal of refuse. It's become an eyesore, and the lack of infrastructure, basic infrastructure like street lights in many parts of the FCT. And they're appealing to the FCT minister to please come to the rescue and do something about it. There's a famous road in Abuja, Ebiti Ikiwe Road, a major road. You need to see the refuse dump in the city center. We're not even talking about outskirts of the Federal Capital Territory. So it would be nice for the FCT minister to look into that. But let's get into our first wake-up conversation of the day, as it has to do with politics. I mean, ADC seems to be the party to look out for. It's positioning itself as the major opposition party following the slow-motion death of the People's Democratic Party. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who used to be a member of the PDP, has made it clear that the African Democratic Congress, ADC, will not be adopting any backroom deals ahead of the 2027 presidential race, insisting that no aspirant will be asked to step down for another. In a statement released through a post shared on X by his media aide, Paul Ibe, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar explained that every aspirant will be free to test their popularity at the party's primary, saying internal democracy must be seen and not just preached. The former vice president stressed that the party wants a transparent process where the best candidate emerges through fair competition, not imposition or consensus arranged behind closed doors. So you can see the list of the political gladiators, the 2027 earthquake, it's termed, of the ADC. Who will win the primary? Who will get the ticket? Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, Nasir El-Rufai, or Rotimi Amechi? He said it should be an open and democratic process. Yes.
I mean, that's a press release there by Paul Ibe, who happens to be the spokesperson for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Now, he says Nigeria's democracy on the siege, opposition faces existential threat. I want to say for nearly 3 years, Nigerians have endured one of the harshest periods in recent history, an era defined by punishing economic policies and shrinking democratic space under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Just to quickly read through, he said, thankfully, I'm going to the last paragraph, patriotic leaders saw this danger early and they actually decided to do something about it. He said, and chose resistance over silence by rallying around the African Democratic Congress as the nucleus of a credible nationwide alternative. Moving on to the next page, quickly, he also said, let it be stated plainly, the ADC, I'm on the second paragraph, is on a national rescue mission. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, alongside other committed patriots, is central to this effort. Any call, overt or covert, for Atiku to step aside is a gift to authoritarian ambition and a betrayal of the Nigerian people. The ADC has consistently affirmed its commitment to an open, transparent, and competitive process for selecting its flag bearer. APC proxies and external meddlers have no standing to intimidate, blackmail, or sabotage this democratic resolve. Bottom line, I don't need to read all of this, but let's just come back and highlight what he's saying.
Do you think there's something, because journalists are always looking for the spirit or the motive behind it, or is just an innocent statement?
I think,
is it that people are trying to make backdoor deals and moves without or find a consensus candidate?
Binga, one thing I know about this, I'm not a politician, but of course, in my early years as a journalist, there were times where I was asked to leave a particular desk and go and join the political desk at the news team and also quickly cover, especially during the elections. One thing I know that happens is there are quiet talks at the back. Quiet talks with an exchange of, loyalty. Okay, you know what? Why don't you do this for me and I will do this for you? That always happens. Secondly, the former vice president is bringing out this statement because if you recall, just 2 weeks ago, there was this story that filled the entire social media space. Atiku has decided to step down for Obi. I don't know if you came across that story.
Though.
It was everywhere.
But it was fake, but it was everywhere.
It was everywhere. In short, part of it also came as a press release. And it's no wonder why he has decided to speak up. That story may have come from maybe supporters of Peter Obi, you do not know. It may have come from the opposition or the incumbent, we do not know. Now, there also calls for him to step down from running because of the long time he has spent year in, year out, always running.
And beyond that, there's also that.
And then there's a blame for the 2023
gentlemanly
elections.
agreement, the unwritten agreement that power will rotate between the north and the south.
That's part of it. So that's number 3. Number 4, if you go back to 2023, guys, remember that they had said, had it been Atiku did not run, the numbers he had, if you add it up to that of Peter Obi would have emerged as the winner. Because it was split between two of them. So by the time you highlight all of these reasons, it has made him to come out, through a spokesperson to say, listen, all of these theatrics, all of these statements, all of these things you're mentioning would have no hold on me. But where I have a problem right now is the fact that, it's not my problem, I think it's the people's problem, is that the ADC now, like we've always said, is filled with a lot of juggernauts, political juggernauts. Look at that picture we put up there.
And also former APC stakeholders and stalwarts, senior APC members who were ministers and governors.
There you go. So the question now is, who will emerge as the primary candidate for the ADC?
It's left to the delegates, yes.
Exactly. Whoever it is that the delegates feel is a better candidate. At the end of the day, the reason all of them came to the ADC, they say, is to rescue Nigeria from bad leadership.
So now, are they going to do that?
Let's see who is selfless enough to recognize that their need should not be made the primary need. That at the end of the day, the need of the party, the decision of the party should consume every other person's personal decision, right? So at the end of the day, it's more about who can step aside. And I wonder how they're going to do it, because they're all big wigs.
This conversation about
it doesn't
step
even make
aside.
sense,
It's not
to be
democratic.
honest. To be honest.
Let the delegates vote. But what I don't want to see is a winner emerges and then the other
ones will now say,
leave the party.
But that's what is going to happen, unfortunately.
You might not.
It may not happen, but what is concerning is the fact that all of them had said that they're coming to rescue Nigeria, and that if they do not win, they're willing to rally behind who the chosen candidate is. So let the process of voting be free, fair, and credible. 2, let everybody set aside their personal selfish agenda. But can Nigerian politicians and selfish agenda not be found in the same sentence?
And do you think we're going to have any more gladiators join the fold?
Oh, yes.
Anything can still happen.
Oh, yes. Some have actually joined. You have members of the Labour Party.
That would challenge the Amechis,
No, big names, not just randoms.
Big names.
Yes, Benga, yes, Olive. And I'm going to say so because there are rumors that you have some persons that will be joining them very soon. Already, the movement is now going into the Senate, the red and green chamber. There's some persons who are looking likely to say, okay, where do I go to? And they're starting to move there. So it's not a surprise. Lastly, just to highlight on this before we go to what Nigerians are saying, let's also recall very quickly that this thing that Atiku made is very key, because 2 persons just this week have come out to say, not this week though, Peter Obi was last week, that it's presidential or nothing. Kwankwaso has said it's
premium or nothing.
It's premium or nothing. Kwankwaso has said it's presidential or vice presidential or nothing. So it's very key to mention quickly that, listen, you're not going to have it on the platter of
well,
gold.
the former FCT minister, the former minister of sports is also part of the ADC fold.
Of course.
Comrade Solomon Dalong.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yes, he is.
So it's almost like a party of former APC members.
It's aggrieved, like they say, aggrieved members.
Let's see what your thoughts are on YouTube. We're streaming live, so head to YouTube where we're streaming live via News Central to drop your comments. But first, let's see what Nigerians are saying after this break.
Welcome back. So we're talking about Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who has said it has to be a showdown between the big political wigs in the ADC. No holds barred. Let the people choose who they want to be the front runner. But let's see what Nigerians are saying very quickly on this one. The 2027 earthquake has started in 2026. Pato says, dear fellow obedient, at no point has anyone in ADC publicly announced that they would step down for Peter Obi. Our concern should not be about anyone stepping down for him if they chose not to. Rather, our focus should be on becoming members, delegates, voters at the primaries. More importantly, we must ensure that the primaries are free and fair. suggesting that other aspirants must step down undermines the democratic process. I only hope and pray that the leaders and members of the ADC read the room and do things the right way. They don't have a choice. Divine says, no problem. He's talking to the former vice president. No problem. But I hope the delegates will know the urgency of now and do the needful. If they told the path of PDP, they will get PDP results. At least we can all see the results today. There is no other name that creates panic attack in the camp of APC like Obi's name. None. Not Atiku, not Abichi, not Tambuwal, not Saraki. None, he says. By the way, Saraki is not in the ADC. He still maintains his position in the PDP, all right? And he was seen frolicking with, of course, members of the APC with rumors that he may join the APC. In
politics, exactly.
In between.
You can't rule it out.
Yoruba Baron says, Atiku, everyone can run freely, sounds good on paper, but in practice, ADC politics has always been about who controls the machinery. Free competition is meaningless if the party elite already decides the winner behind the scenes. That's what he says. Okay, all right. And let's see this one. Ochai says, this is not good for Mr. Obi since the ADC is literally formed by the Northerners. But one thing is sure, if Obi decides to run for vice president, I am voting Tinubu, he says. Yeah. And Olusegun Nelson Yodo says, this is the time for Obi to keep saving money for delegates. He just won't go anywhere without it. It's a political standard in Nigeria. I really don't understand what you mean by saving money.
But this defeats the purpose of democracy. I mean, if you're going to buy delegates, that means they're not voting for their conscience. It's just transactional. Yeah. Let's hope the ADC delegates put the country first in their deliberations. And also, the political gladiators would not induce these delegates with financial reward and would, you know, make their points known through their manifesto and their plans for Nigerians if they get elected.
At the end of the day, may the best man or woman win. Let's now move to Morocco. This time we're not looking at updates from AFCON. Social media activist Martin Sosei, popularly known as Very Dark Man, is raising alarms over the condition of Nigerian students on federal scholarship in Morocco, accusing the Federal Ministry of Education of neglecting them for months without their stipends. He says many of the students are now stranded, owing rent, skipping meals, and unable to afford basic study materials because the promised financial support has allegedly not been released, according to him. Some students are surviving only through help from friends and family back home, while others risk being thrown out by landlords and missing academic activities due to unpaid bills. His message, shared widely online, is putting fresh pressure on authorities to respond, as he demands transparency on where the funds meant for the scholarship program are and immediate relief for the affected students, insisting that young scholars abroad should not be left to suffer. Let's look at the video.
Your regime and your cabinet does not need to be in that country anymore, because everything about your government is lying, fraudulent. They take advantage of the people, manipulate just to make money. Now, these people behind me, I met them in Morocco. That same hotel where I went and I saw Tinubu's picture. I don't know how you leave Nigeria, I can't do campaign for Morocco. That's the same place I met these people. And they came to beg me. And I asked him what happened. This guy was given scholarship by the Nigerian government to come and study medicine. What year? Yeah, what year now? He's in his final year. He was given scholarship to come and study medicine so that he will become a doctor, go back to Nigeria and work in our healthcare. But sadly, after they gave him the scholarship, they abandoned him here in Morocco. Alongside everybody that is here, they've been abandoned in Morocco. Now, the sad part is that as they abandoned them, they are not even allowed to work because of the agreement, right? Yes. They had an agreement with the Moroccan government while they were giving them scholarship that they are not allowed to work. So these people are pretty much stranded. You, how long have you been here?
I've been here for 5 years.
This guy been here for 5 years. You, how many?
2 years.
2 years. You?
3 years.
You?
4 years.
You?
2 years.
Now, this guy, how did you come to Morocco? Did you come like this?
I came with my both legs walking.
What happened to your legs?
Because I did not have means of survival, I just had to find something doing. On my way coming back, I had an accident which led to me breaking my thigh bone, and I could not pay for any of my medical bills. Even till now, I've not paid due to the issue of we not having money to survive in this country.
So, as you heard him, he's not even allowed to work. But because of the predicament that the Nigerian government put him through, he had to sneak to start working. And while he was coming back from work, he had an accident that led to him breaking his leg. And he also told me something about another student that died. What happened to him?
This is a student that was suffering.
All right. Well, let's see what Nigerians are saying. I want to believe.
Well, quite an insensitive first
Baby
tweet.
Yo.
Says, did they force them to go? They should start coming back if they are not okay with the treatment. When Pastor Adeboye said that there will be reversal of Japa, it simply means everyone who has traveled out will come back, whether in a good state or in a bad state. They should start coming back, I beg. This is the most
very
insensitive tweet. I don't know if the person meant to be sarcastic, but it wasn't sarcastic in any way.
And it wasn't funny.
And it wasn't funny. It is better not to comment at all than to comment nonsense. Okay, this is the person responding to that earlier tweet. This is not a jackpot case. These students are on the federal government scholarships. They must have excelled academically to have been awarded the scholarship. The government really needs to do better. This is a shame on Nigeria. And in response, this one says, they didn't excel anything. Most of them were handpicked by connection. My friend joined the same program by APC government that took them to China, and they were abandoned for 5 years. He's back now. He didn't qualify for any scholarship, but shortlisted by his uncle. This is still continuing the thread from the first tweet. Which level of government gave this scholarship? Because it's usually state governments that award stuff of this nature. Are the courses also that specialized? I find dramas like this disheartening. Adebami Sokwe Afolabi says.
But it's a good question, because we need to know which agency of government or which level
exactly,
of government.
that was the first thing I thought when I saw that video.
Name and say he's responsible for this.
This is really unfortunate for Nigerians. I didn't even know our government was sending students to countries like Morocco for studies. Why not Morocco? We're in such a tough situation where everything has become extremely difficult in this country. If the government can't fulfill its promise to sponsor our children's education abroad, then we're truly in trouble. This situation is heartbreaking. All in one messenger, Abi, one message says.
I mean, if you look at the present economic realities and the government feels they don't have the funding to, to sponsor scholarships, they should wait for the last batch of students on any sort of federal government scholarship to finish and then end it rather than send students abroad and leave them stranded. It doesn't leave a good taste in the mouth. And also, what happened to the Nigerian Diaspora Commission? Why is the very dark man the one championing this course? It would be nice to also hear from the Nigerian High Commission in Rabat and have specific details about which scholarships, because some of them might be on state scholarships, and know who exactly is responsible for their well-being.
Well, it's a really sad thing, because this is not the first time we've heard of Nigerian students that have been left stranded abroad in different countries. It's not just Morocco, it's been Cyprus before. Just different parts of the world where they're going to study to get better education, but unfortunately, it ends in tears. We hope that we can find proper information as to who sponsored that scholarship and hold them to account. But